What's up, y'all? My name is Aaron Mallory, aka MrLetGo. And yesterday, somebody DM'd me a pretty interesting question. She said, Aaron, how do I find happiness again? I used to be so happy, but I don't really know what happened. I love to use analogies. So this particular analogy is going to be a ring, like a diamond ring, and the diamond fell out of the ring. First, I want you to visualize losing the diamond out of your ring, right? But you don't remember when you lost it. We're going to look at the who, what, when, where, and how of where to find your happiness, i.e. the ring diamond. The first step of finding your happiness is, what did it look like? Now, a ring diamond looks totally different by itself versus being on your ring. So you have to visualize what the ring diamond looks like. So when you're looking around for it, you'll easily be able to identify it. Since we're talking about happiness, I need you to ask yourself, what does being happy look like? What does your happiness look like? I need you to stop and say, I remember being happy and it looked like blank. Okay? So you first have to identify what you're looking for and how it actually looks to you in your mind. So I need you to go back and just remember the last time that you were genuinely happy. Not the last time something made you happy, but the last time you were like overall just happy about your life. That's the first thing. All right, the next thing is, we're still on what now? So what could have possibly jolted the diamond out of your ring? What kind of trauma happened? Like, what event could have taken place in your past that actually jolted you from being happy to not being happy anymore? Like, something could have happened. Something could have hit it, right? So what hit you? What jolt in your past actually caused you to be where you are now versus where you used to be? It could be some type of trauma, some type of breakup, some type of loss. It could have been abuse. What actually happened that caused that diamond to come out or be removed in some type of way from the ring? Now let's go to where. Where is very important. Where have you been? Like, were you married at first? Or were you single at first and now you're married? Like, where were you the last time you noticed your happiness being intact? Where were you the last time you actually just looked at your finger and said, oh my God, I love this diamond in the ring? Like, where were you? And when I say where were you, where have you been? Like, in the last 5, 10, 15 years, where have you been? Did you move from a different state? Or are you slowly being more unhappy because you haven't been anywhere? Is the where the actual problem? Are you tired of being in the same place? Is the where wearing you down? Is the where the actual problem? Are you tired of this particular environment? Have you been somewhere way too long? Or do you miss where you used to be? And I mean environments. An environment can be neighborhood, it could be city, it could be job, it could be friends, it could be a relationship that you still miss, or all of those things could be the things that are actually hurting you. Staying at a job too long, staying in your city too long, staying in a relationship too long, having a dumb friend too long that's annoying you and still having the same issues and problems. Where have you been? And where are you now? And which where is most important to you in your life? All right, so what's next is when. And when I say when, I'm talking about what year. What year do you remember yourself being happy? When was the last time you literally looked at your life and appreciated it? When you really noticed that you were really happy. And then look at like what year it was, what part of the year it was, and what was going on in your life at that particular time. Because when is very important, because I want you to think, how long has it been since you were happy? Was it 1994? Was it 2008? let's look at the different events that happen in your life. Like, for example, in my life, in 2008, it was a recession, right? Everything in my life was falling apart. I lost my good job. I didn't know what I was about to do. Between 2008 and 2009, that was like the worst parts of my life. I almost lost my house at least about 4 different times. I had to move. It was a lot of things going on. So 2008 was a good way for me to say, all right, what did I lose in 2008? You know, like, did I lose my happiness in 2008? Was I happy in 2007? You know, or like, so that's an example of when. When did you first see a change happen in your life? Next is how. How do you think you lost your happiness? How do you think you lost the diamond in your ring? Like, how? Do you think it was a jolt? Like, let's go back to the jolt, to the trauma. Like, what if you dealt with a lot of different traumatic situations? There was a lot of different situations that actually happened to us that could have contributed to us no longer being happy. But I want you to look at, how do you think it actually happened? And start looking at those different situations and say, you know what? It was for sure that one. Or it was for sure that one. Now for the scariest part, the who. Who were you around when you started losing your happiness? Like the analogy of losing your diamond in your ring. Were you at work? Like, who were you around? Who were you talking to? Like, who were you dealing with? This is not about blame, because I don't want you to blame anybody. But it's important for us to identify who was in our lives when we first started losing our happiness. Who was in our lives when we actually were happy? And who were you around when you seen the difference? Because sometimes you could have found somebody and you were unhappy until you found that person, right? And then when you're with that person, you're happy. And now you lost that person and now you're unhappy again. Sadly, that particular person was not the problem. Because remember I said, you were unhappy before you met that person. And then you got happy when you were with them. And then you lost them and you were unhappy. This means that you were unhappy before that person. This is very important. So that means that particular person is not the who. Now, let's go down the rabbit hole of who. Because with a lot of us, that who was not that relationship, was not that ex, was not that person you fell in love with. That person actually brought the happiness back. So who can the who be? Let's go back to your childhood. Was your who your mother? Did you have a tumultuous relationship with your mother? Did she affect your happiness? When you were a little girl, when you were a little boy, like, did your mother get in the way of your happiness with the way she talked, the way she acted, the things she exposed you to? Or was it your father? Did your father leave you? Did your father hurt you? Or did your father just simply not love you when he was there? Did he ignore you? So these are the real who's, because in a lot of our lives, the trauma usually happens way before we start liking the opposite sex. The trauma happened when we were little boys and little girls. It's certain things that we seen, certain things that we were exposed to. We started comparing ourselves to our siblings. You know, you may have felt like your sibling was treated differently than you, and it affected you. And then that romance kind of like brought the happiness back. But that romance wasn't the problem. We just get to the point where we just don't remember when we first was happy and when we first realized that we weren't happy again at all. Well, happy period. We have to go all the way back to our childhood. So when I say what year and who and how, sometimes we have to go back to when we were like 5, 6, or 7 years old. Because that is usually when your wall was formed. So now let's talk about the wall, because we're still on how this diamond left our ring, I want to show you something that is very, very important to your psyche. All right. So look at this. This right here, as you can see, your heart is all the way in the middle, right? And there's a lot of layers going around your heart, right? See, a lot of people may feel like they're putting layers around their heart to stop them from getting hurt. And it started from a relationship. A lot of times, that first layer was possibly formed when you were 5, 6, and 7. From the way you perceived your life versus how your parents raised you. And the things that you dealt with when you were little, you slowly started building walls around your feelings. See, your feelings first got hurt when you were in school or when you were little, not when some boy or some girl hurt your feelings or broke your heart. It was an adult or another kid that broke your heart first in some type of different way. Not romantically, but you didn't feel like you were enough, or you started feeling like you were ugly, or you weren't developed like the other girls or boys. See, that is when your walls started being built, or your layers start being built around your feelings. You started figuring out ways that will protect you from your feelings from being hurt, you know? But the biggest problem that a lot of people don't know is this wall or all of these layers being built around your feelings. It's going to take a whole lot for somebody to hurt you, right? Because you built this wall up. But sadly, it's going to take a whole lot for you to be happy also. Because I talked about this in a separate video. If you have built a wall up or a lot of layers around your feelings, it's going to take a lot for you to feel, period. Because these layers, this is about numbness. If you have this many layers around your feelings, you may be numb to everything. So that means you don't feel hurt when somebody tries to hurt you, but you don't feel joy when somebody tries to make you happy. So what I want you to do is do this exercise about the who, what, when, where, how, and figure out where your layers were or where your wall actually started being built, because that is where your happiness is. If you actually let go of those layers or tear down that wall, that is the only way you'll be able to see your happiness again, because your happiness is inside of you. You just don't know where it is, because like I said, it's like a little diamond that fell out of your diamond ring. You don't know where it is. You're looking around and you can't find it. It is in you. You just have to find it. It's going to take a minute. It's going to take coaching. It's going to take therapy. It's going to take some pain, because a lot of people may have suppressed those memories. But if you truly want to find your happiness is behind the same wall that you built to protect you from being hurt. Now, if this video helped you, I need you to do 4 things for me. 1, subscribe to my channel. 2, hit the notification bell so you'll be notified the next time I post. 3, like the video. And 4, leave a comment and let me know what you think so I can get your feedback. Y'all have a good day.